Well, the White House has just confirmed that the 10,000th Syrian refugee will indeed be entering the United States today. So with that, we bring in former George W. Bush Deputy Assistant Defense Secretary Peter Brookes on the concerns, certainly, I guess you would put it, of this refugee policy, which is on one side of the aisle celebrated. That's where the White House is. They said it's a good idea. It's been done on purpose, and we've met this target a month earlier than we meant to meet it. But you say what?
Well, we don't know what the fallout is going to be from this. So far, none of these individuals have been involved in any acts of terrorism, but many are concerned about it, including many governors, and concerned about having these people in their states. These latest ones will be going to Virginia and to California. But there is also the issue that we've had 25 terrorist attacks or plots in the United States since the beginning of 2015, Connell.
Right.
And all of those have been homegrown. 21 of those have been related to ISIS, so we don't know what this means. The point here is that the terrorist threat comes from a number of different vectors. Refugees have been involved in some terrorist attacks in Europe. We have border issues we have to think about. We have people that are already here that may decide, as we've seen over the last year and 3 quarters. So we're still in the crosshairs. ISIS is still a viable group and is still exporting the idea, a violent theology, a violent ideology that has us in the crosshairs.
If you're a foreign policy analyst or someone in the CIA or somewhere that they're advising the president on this, how do you assess risk? Because, as you say, so far there hasn't been an issue, right? But the sample size, I would think, in studying something like this is relatively small. You would probably need to look at it over a longer period of time, right? Before you could judge that there was no risk.
That's right. I mean, this is all about risk management, right? We don't live in a police state here, and we do have, unfortunately, we have people who take up violence against innocent civilians or attempt to. So it is a very difficult, and that's why law enforcement, intelligence sharing, international cooperation is so critically important. The other thing I think that's at play here, Connell, is the fact of the president's legacy. His foreign policy legacy isn't very good. He has, he wanted to close places like Gitmo. He's working very hard to do that. He's closing to the end of his tour, his tenure, and, his policy in Syria has not been very good. So you think this
helps his legacy? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it's part of I think it's perhaps putting a salve on a wound here, because the fact is that his Syria policy has been a disaster. 400,000 to 500,000 people have died. ISIS, remember he called ISIS the JV. The administration got caught flat-footed by the rise of ISIS. The regime of Bashar al-Assad has been responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. So I think this is part of that legacy as well.
Peter, thanks. Always good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Peter Brookes.